A mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Back to the Future, episode 52 of our Chult of Personality, Tomb of Annihilation campaign, happening just about every Sunday night right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain. Immediate shout outs to both Fellowship of the Tables and Cajun Kevin for helping me realize technical difficulties. Thanks, Fellowship, for the catch on the D&D Beyond overlay, and Cajun for letting me know that I was broadcasting audio out to you beforehand. I appreciate the looking out, and hopefully I didn't say anything weird while we were broadcasting. At least you didn't hear these guys, because what they were saying, not safe for the airwaves. It's because they're Canadian. Actually, it's just because Connor and Megan are from Alberta, is what the takeaway is. Because what they were saying is they are diehard, never gonna leave Albertans. At least that's what Megan was saying. All right, just setting the tone for this game. I want to set up this combative nature right before we start. All right. I kid. So, yeah, we're back, and we are going to get into it. I'm just going to say real quick, because I'm in the process of writing up a new break screen where a lot of our announcements are going to reside. So I'm just going to say, please, Fellowship, if you could throw up the usual links for Jasper's and for Initiative Coffee Company, that would be great. Check out those links. Jasper's Game Day is a wonderful charity dedicated to preventing teen suicide. That link will allow you to donate directly to them. We're partnered with them. Initiative Coffee Company link will allow you to purchase minted roast coffee, where $3 of every purchase goes to benefit Jasper's Game Day and help fund crisis centers around the country. I'll draw your attention to the D&D Beyond logo on there, and of course, we had the little snafu, but it's fixed now. Mini-Terrain Domain is powered by D&D Beyond. Thank you to D&D Beyond for giving us insider access. I run the game completely using the D&D Beyond application, and of course, we have the overlay here on twitch.com or twitch.tv rather, on your computer that allows you to see the player's character sheets. Also, if you type !merch, you will see the new MTD merchandise store, and you can see this. I can't quite get high enough, but the shirt I'm wearing is the MTD logo shirt from Teespring. I just got my own logo shirt finally. One of the reasons why I switched storefronts is the previous storefront did not offer shirts in my size. But yeah, you can check that link out. We have, I think, 9 different designs currently, with more on the way, a couple that are general RPG. And of course, there's a Chult of Personality. There's this green devil face right here is available as a shirt, which I will have in the next week. There's one for All That Glitters campaign, DM'd by this guy right here. So the words on that shirt, which I believe Dwight actually ordered one of those, are words that Mike came up with to describe our campaign. It's a wonderful alliteration for All That Glitters. And of course we got some Dawnbringers stuff in there as well. So yeah, check out the store and get your Mini Terrain Domain swag from there. Let's see. I feel like there was one other thing. Oh, I do want to say thank you to anybody here who is a subscriber to the Mini Terrain Domain YouTube channel. Just this Friday, we finally hit that glorious 10,000 subscriber mark. I've been chasing that for a while, and that would be the hashtag feels great man, or feels good man. It really does feel good to cross that, and it's because of people like you that support the channel, support what we do at Mini Terrain Domain. So I greatly appreciate that. Stay tuned for some new updates and things coming on YouTube and Patreon, all of that stuff, and it will kind of, some of it will flow in here as well. But yeah, you can expect the same great content you've been getting here on Twitch as well. I do believe I went through those announcements so quickly. I kind of got disoriented. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover, except our final thing that I will not bypass and I will not slow or speed through. If you are watching our game right now and you find yourself hurting, if you find yourself needing somebody to talk to, feeling less than, whatever, we want you to know, first of all, first and foremost, you matter. We think you matter, and other people out there think you matter. But if you find yourself in doubt at any time, you can type !help. And the following information will appear in chat that has just been put there by our moderator, Fellowship of the Table. First of all, in the United States, you can call 24/7. You can call the number 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255 to talk to a trained professional who is standing by to help you. Or you can text 741-741. In Canada, the crisis text line can be reached by texting CONNECT for English or Parley for French to 686-868. And the new Canadian Suicide Prevention Services by Crisis Services Canada has made available a toll-free number 24/7. That number is 1-833-456-4566. Please, if you need help, do not hesitate. There's no shame whatsoever in getting help. I recently started seeing a therapist myself, and it is absolutely amazing. So please utilize that service. I think the only other thing I was going to kind of just breeze through it, but thank you to longtime fan and patron saint of the Domain Dice, Chameleon Fam, or Jose Pura 1974 right here in the chat, who just dropped a $50 tip on the game here, which means that you have just earned, God, you're making me do math. That's $5 per domain die. That means you all just earned 10 domain dice for use in this tomb. So instead of the 9 that you currently have, we are going to just change that +5 to a we're going to turn that off. We'll give you +15. Thank you so much for your support. All of you who contribute to Domain Dice, which allows the players a lot of actions described in the chat and in the scroll down below, such as rerolls, things like that. And of course, 5 Domain Dice which we call the Patron's Blessing. This was chosen by Chameleon Fam Jose, Joey P, whatever name he goes by, depending on the chat. That is that you can turn any hit into a super crit. That is a double max damage hit for 5 domain dice. So thank you. Much love to you and anybody else. You can, with a $5 tip, 500-bit cheer, subscriptions, resubscriptions, all that stuff contributes. So with all of that, it is time to play Dungeons and Dragons. A quick recap. These 4 adventurers have been meandering, wandering, exploring, poking, and prodding their way through the Tomb of the 9 Gods. Most of them have managed to avoid getting possessed by the various trickster spirits, except for Vale, who is now currently on his 2nd spiritual passenger in the form of, I believe it's Obalaka that is with you at this time. But Vale and Brilinya each have, and Qualu now, each have magical treasures that were once owned by the trickster gods. Recently, they decided when they completed the 1st level on the 2nd level to immediately jump into the green devil face's mouth through the floor, falling nearly 30 feet to a tomb down below, where they found themselves on a small golden sarcophagus in a gilded barge in a room completely surrounded by hieroglyphic floor tiles that I'll pop up here real quick. And it apparently scared them witless because they made every effort to not step on these floor tiles. Maybe the gold dwarf who was dead on the floor convinced them. But they eventually wound their way back up through the hole in the floor to the level they were on. Began exploring through this area, found a room that reeked of wine and reeked of trap. Brilinya's Devil's Sight allows her to, or not Devil's Sight. Is it Devil's Sight?
It's like Aspect of the Moon.
Aspect of the Moon allows,
or Ghostly Gaze.
Ghostly Gaze, yes, allows her to see through solid objects, looking through walls, and was able to determine that there are cisterns full of a liquid that they are surmising is wine that would entrap them in this room. So they beat feet out of there, headed to an area where the floor, an intersection where they could see the floor curving upwards in either direction. One of Taliel's former companions found dead on the floor, Qualu now possessing his goat tipped staff. They decided to follow this circular path, and when they emerged on the other side, they found that the body was gone. They came back and the body was there. They went back another time, and while they were trying to figure out what was going on, they heard the sound of approaching feet. A half-human, half-goat man came running around the corner, shot full of crossbow bolts. A few more bolts shot him, and they realized that it was none other than Devlin, the former companion of Taliel, now alive. Apparently, they are back in time. And 4 dwarves wearing devil face masks have shown themselves, popped a couple more crossbow bolts into Devlin, who stumbled off to the side, and that is why we are going to start this session with a roll for initiative. I suppose I should roll for my tomb dwarves. Let's see. All right. And I'm actually going to, because of the way they're moving, I'm rolling them in 2 waves. And then... All right, Vale, what did you get?
Got an 18.
Taliel.
23.
Brilinya.
9.
9. Qualu.
12.
12. All right, here is the batting order. Taliel, you are going to go first. One group of Tomb Dwarves is going to go second. Vale, you will be third, followed by Qualu is fourth. Fifth is Brilinya. 6 is the second group of Tomb Dwarves, and Devlin is last in the initiative order. Taliel, you see your companion Devlin, who you've not seen in, by your reckoning, you've not seen him in about 3 days. Give or take. And just moments before, you saw him dead on the floor. You see Qualu still holding the staff that Devlin also now holds in his hands. Devlin's been perforated by about a half a dozen of these bolts. You see a couple slash marks already across him. He's bleeding profusely. And you see 2 of these dwarves that are at the end. Keep in mind, you guys are in a 5-foot wide hallway. The dwarves are at the end of it. At your back is the room, the trapped room, the room you believe to be trapped, the wine room. And there are 2 more dwarves out in the balcony area that you can just see at the back. Taliel, what are you going to do?
Taliel immediately yells to Devlin, "Get behind us!" And pulls out her bow and will shoot one of the first dwarves that's there.
All right, go ahead and take your shot.
Okay. That will be a 25 to hit. And yeah, 25 to hit.
Yes, that is absolutely going to hit.
I'm going to also make this a bursting arrow. I'm going to use one of the arcane shots that she has for the day. The target and all the other creatures within the 10 feet of it will take 2d6 force as well.
Within how? What's the range?
10 feet.
Okay, right now there's only one other dwarf that's right within that range.
Yeah, so both of those, so the one dwarf will get hit with the arrow, and both of them will take the force damage. Okay, so it's 6 force damage for each of them, and the one with the arrow shot is 8 damage.
And that's magical damage because of your arcane
It is.
arrow.
It is. And as soon as the first shot goes, she loses the second shot.
Excellent.
Using extra attack. And this one is probably not so good. That's 15.
That will hit.
Okay, perfect. So that is another 7 points of damage to that same one.
Excellent. Yeah, you take your quick shots. It's kind of like shooting tomb dwarves in a barrel because it's such a narrow hallway. You barely have to shift your bow to shoot at each of them. And you see them reel from this. These dwarves are wielding crossbows and battle axes, and they are you can see that they have these masks that look like just like the green devil face that is right here with the mouth open, but you can see in their hands they wear sort of rotten looking studded leather armor, and their skin is sallow and pale. And it is actually their turn. as they begin moving towards you, or rather continue moving towards you in this hallway. Just as a refresher, because you guys kind of came out of this ring, Devlin is already kind of moved up into the northern part of this ring, and Taliel has moved in to where she's shooting down this hallway. Where are Qualu, Brilinya, and Vale in relation to Taliel? You basically have cardinal directions. Taliel's at the west, which is the direction this hallway goes. North and south are this circular route that took you through somehow back in time, and east leads to the trapped room. So
Qualu will be west because he was saying, "Well, I should just stand here as you guys walk by." So he'll be on the western side, which will be on the dwarf attack side.
So Taliel sort of shooting next to you.
Yeah.
All right, Vale and Brilinya.
I think Brilinya would be further east because she was paying attention to that trap room.
Okay. And Vale, where are you?
I'm pretty sure the Vale would have been, because I'm pretty sure we established last session that I was just walking around trying to get. So I mean, if anything, I don't know. I might be like right up behind Taliel.
Okay.
If anything.
Perfect. So the two of them come in. They do have enough movement to get up to you, and I need to check something real quick. Gotta love D&D Beyond, so that I can quickly search things and get the information. So that is 1D. Okay. All right. So these two come up, and they are each going to attack. One is going to attack Qualu, and one is going to attack Taliel. As they come running up, they are going to each take a shot at each of you with these crossbows, and then they sort of drop them, and you see that they're on these leather slings, so that they just sort of drop it down to their side after they take a shot. So Taliel, the first one takes a shot at you, and that is probably going to miss. That is a 9. There's this sort of, you hear the and then even Brilinya and Vale, kind of over your head, this errant bolt ricochets, whizzing. Brilinya, you just hear this sort of as it whizzes past your ear. So that was how many? Give me a number, Kaeryn, and I'll add that damage, additional damage onto that one.
4 for each. Yeah, 2 for each of the shots.
So a total of an additional 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. The second shot at you, Qualu, also misses. As these things are sort of kind of bouncing off of each other. It's a pretty narrow hallway. Because there's no way an 11. Well, actually, your armor is lowered,
I'm
isn't
armorless.
it?
11 hits.
So, so it kind of, as the one bounces into it, it almost knocks its shot straight, or it lines its shot up. So you do get hit with that crossbow, and you will take the light crossbow is D8, isn't it? All right, because I'm swapping out weapons here. Yeah. So you will take a total of +2. So you take 8 points of piercing damage. And then they both get in, and because it's so crowded, and they're both dwarves, they are going to attack at disadvantage because they're crowding in as they attack at each of you. Qualu, this one raises its, you are lucky it's disadvantage because that was a crit. And then that is a 15 to hit you. As he swings in, you will take 6 points of slashing damage from his battle axe. And then Taliel at disadvantage. Those are both 13, so that's going to be an 18 or 17 to hit you, Taliel.
Yeah, 17 will.
And you will take a 10 slashing damage from this one as they're right up on you. Vale, you see this right in front of you, Taliel and Qualu. You can see in the blood splashing as they are hit from these bum-rushing dwarves. What are you going to do, Vale?
Well, first I'm going to say phrasing.
What did I say?
Then after that,
what did I say?
Bum rushing.
Bum rushing these dwarves. Let me tell you about.
Is that not a Canadian phrase?
Let me tell you about my Thursday. But no, seriously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of position myself, maybe even move Taliel out of the way. I'm going to hop in between several of the dwarves, and I'm just going to start attacking. First one. Oh, hey. Ho, ha, hoo, hoo, ha.
Also, Vale, you being a paladin, any of your attacks that are specifically affect undead would come into play.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
At this closer range, there is no question from the smell, and you can now see that some of their flesh is rotten. That they are indeed these tomb dwarves. They are undead.
So it's not just Qualu. It's the other.
Yeah, you can. Well, Qualu's body odor is completely different.
Yeah, it's a nice musk.
No, it's not.
It smells a little bit like Campbell's vegetable soup.
It's been left out in the sun for a day and a half. All right, so the first one, the first attack is a 16 to hit.
That is going to hit.
Okay. This is just going to be a plain old.
Is that against the one that's taken the most damage or the least damage?
That would be the one that's taken the most damage.
Okay.
So I'd probably just go up and start, follow through kind of thing.
Excellent.
So that is going to be 8 points of magical piercing damage.
All right.
And then I'm going to switch to the one that is the least damaged. And with a bit of a flourish, I'm just going to come in and attack. Okay, that's definitely a hit, because that would be a 19 to hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to make this one a standard, or not a standard, divine smite. There we go. Words on a page. I just need to grab one more D8. Nice to say that I need more dice. Huh. All right, so first up. Okay, so first up, it is going to be it's going to be 15 points of magical piercing and 9 points of radiant damage.
The hallway is beginning to flash and flare as you strike out with this. When you add in this radiant damage, there's this sort of and you can see in that flash of radiant damage that already between Taliel and yourself, both of these dwarves have taken a fair amount of damage.
All right, and then that is my turn.
Which brings us to Qualu. It's getting crowded in here, but
Qualu makes some room.
Vale's rapier is basically just like lunging up around you at these things, but they're right in your face.
Yeah, so I looked this up because I haven't had the chance to attune to the staff yet. I don't get its magical effects, but I'll still use it anyways as just a striking stick, as this is more in line with what Qualu's good at doing, is holding a big weapon with two hands and just cracking someone's skull with it. He'll just bear down this goat-headed staff and just crunch it into the skulls of these decrepit undead dwarves in front of him as best as he can, just
All right.
whacking them.
Yep.
That's 23 to hit and a 20 to hit.
And you're not attuned, so those are going to be those are both hits, but those are going to be non-magical attacks then.
Yeah. I've D&D Beyond does something cool. Is if you don't attune to the weapon, it just keeps it. It doesn't give you any of the magic effects to it. It was really cool. I just noticed that now. So it's going to be only 10 for the first hit and 9 for the second hit.
Actually, I want to back up because doing that breaks the precedent that we've had in this campaign for the last 2 years.
Oh, okay.
That because of the nature of the shorter sessions and stuff, we've kind of overridden the need to have that time to identify and attune. So you can consider yourself attuned to this.
Okay, cool. Then give me access to that goat curse, I guess, then. We'll see how that shapes up. But then I get better to hits then, and it'll be 13 and 12 points of damage from this strike. It'll be 25 total of magical bludgeoning.
To each?
If I'm able to get one target with both of those strikes.
Your first strike was the 13, correct? Or
yeah, 13. Yep.
So you bring this staff down and you feel this excess energy moving through this staff, and you hear a crunch, and you see that devil face mask actually splits in half, and you can see this horrific face behind it of this dwarf. It has no lips. It's just rotten teeth. Its eye sockets are recessed. The nose is completely gone. And the staff continues moving through into the skull, and you just drive this first dwarf down into the ground. So your second attack will go to the second dwarf.
Sweet. That'll be 12 damage.
This one, you split the mask, but you don't quite penetrate the skull, and this one is still standing.
Ha! I crush you, weaklings! That's my turn.
Brilinya. There's quite a commotion going on behind you in the at the intersection.
Yeah, I imagine Brilinya is turned around looking, trying to figure this out, and she turns and sees this just chaos before her. How many dwarves are left?
There's one in front of the scrum, I guess we'll say, of Taliel, Qualu, and Vale. And there's two more out in the balcony area that look like they might be moving forward.
Okay. So I think Brilinya is going to hold out the staff that Dunala had, given her from the snake trickster, and she's going to throw the staff down. And I think it would be really cool if the staff's command word for her is Dunala.
Absolutely.
And as she says that, this staff begins to move and writhe like a snake and turns into a giant constrictor. And I have to roll initiative for it.
Awesome.
What is that? Oh, that's a 6. So that'll be an 8. So it'll go right after me. And she would look at the dwarves out in the hall, and she would silently command this Dunala snake to attack.
What is the dex of the snake?
+2.
All right, give me a d20 roll real quick.
Okay. That's a 12.
All right. Your snake will actually not go right after you.
Okay.
Both. It's the same initiative as the other two dwarves.
Okay.
So it's going to go right after them.
Cool.
All right. So is that your turn?
Yep, that is Brilinya's turn.
All right. The other two dwarves stand at the end of the hall, and they are going to take shots in, with Taliel and Qualu being at the forefront. They are going to take their shots at both of them. The first dwarf is going to take, actually, we'll just do one at each of you. So that is a 21 to hit Taliel, and a 16 to hit Qualu. And then on their second shots, that is a 16 to hit Taliel, and a 6 to hit Qualu. So 2 against Taliel, 1 against Qualu. Taliel, you are going to take 13 points of piercing damage as 2 of these crossbow bolts rapidly strike you. And Qualu, you take 6 more points of piercing damage as another crossbow bolt punctures your skin. They do not advance into the hallway. So that is going to be their turn. It is now the constrictor snake's turn.
Can the constrictor snake get to them? It has 30 feet speed.
It would get an opportunity attack against it because there is one dwarf directly in front of Taliel and Qualu.
Okay. Could it get to that one?
Absolutely.
Perfect. That is what it is going to do. And it is.
I would even say, because of the nature of snakes and this sort of narrow hallway, and it being a giant constrictor snake, that it just sort of slithers along the crags in the wall with the stone bricks, and it sort of almost moves in a spiral up around the ceiling and sort of comes down in front and is able to attack at that dwarf.
Awesome. So that's an 18 to hit.
Absolutely will hit.
And the target is restrained, grappled. And it takes some damage. It's going to take 13 points of bludgeoning damage as well.
As it's constricting it,
Yes.
you hear the sound of bones shattering. And you actually see directly in front of you, Taliel and Qualu, as this thing's battle axe is drawn up to its chest. The blade of the axe sort of starts to push up under its chin and drive in to its throat. And the haft of the axe actually snaps at the same time as its wrists do. And it's basically turned into a pulverized mess, and the snake kills it. It only had 3 hit points remaining. You guys are making short work of these dwarves. So, that...
Short work of these dwarves.
Yes, that was completely intended.
Get out.
No, it was not. It was an accidental... You know when I make my puns, I always give you that, waka waka.
Get out. I mean, it's your channel and everything. But
Let's see. Just checking. All right. Oh boy. I think it would probably be Brilinya and Vale. You hear a clattering sound as Devlin, in that partially up that curve, drops his staff. leaning heavily against one of the walls as he drops to his knees and appears to be bleeding out on the ground. So that's his turn. We are back at the top of the order. Taliel, it is your turn. 2 dwarves are attacking you from the end of the hall.
Taliel is going to shoot arrows at them because
that's what she does.
That's what she does, and they brought her attention to them, so she is going to return the favor and shoot. I don't know, we'll say the one on the left.
All right.
That would be a 19.
That's a hit.
Okay. This one's also going to be a grasping arrow. So what happens, it's going to take an additional 2d6 poison, as well as the damage from the arrow. And sorry, I just lost it. Its speed will be reduced by 10 feet, and it'll take 2d6 slashing damage the first time on each turn that it moves a foot or more. And it lasts for a minute or until somebody uses an action to try to remove them.
Remove what?
The brambles, because it's so he gets shot with this arrow, and immediately these vines go out from it with these thorns and dig right into his flesh, and he's not restrained or anything, but he does have all these brambles on him that'll cause him injury moves.
Got it.
So that is 7 points of poison and 13 points of magical piercing.
You see, you see exactly that happen. And some of his flesh is torn, you just see where the brambles are sort of digging in, but he hasn't tried to move yet, so they're not really doing much of anything to him yet.
Okay, and then the second shot is going to go on the other guy.
Excellent.
Ooh, that's a 14.
That hits.
Okay, that's perfect. So that'll be 10 points of magical piercing.
Excellent. Both of them have been struck. One of them, the one on the left, is covered in these thorny brambles. And that takes us to, let's see, those guys are dead, so they can't do anything. So, Vale, you're up.
All right. I'm going to keep moving up past Taliel, and I'm going to get to the next cluster of dwarves, or however many dwarves are left, because I'm assuming the 2 ones that I attacked in my turn are now dead. So I'd probably just move up to the next.
Yeah, so yes, that is 100% correct, and it is 10, 15, 20, 25 feet to where they are. They're basically at the opening. They're sort of flanking. They're standing shoulder to shoulder, taking shots down. So, yeah, you can absolutely move through and get to them.
All right. I'm going to do just that. Attack the first one.
Left or right?
Oh, left.
That's the one covered in brambles? Perfect.
Yep, that'll be... Now, wait. Covered in brambles, that means it's with advantage to hit?
No, it's not restrained or anything. It's just... It's basically, picture it like these... I imagine it like dry brambles are just exploded out of where this magical arrow shot it, and it's not holding it in place. It's just covering it in these poisonous barbs.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. That's a 13 to hit.
That will miss.
Yeah, I figured as much.
You hear there's a shower of sparks and a clang as you come in a little too hot and catch your blade on the stone wall.
Makes sense. Shaking it off, and I'll immediately pivot on my feet and go after the one on the right. Whoops! That literally fell back off into my hand. Well, that's good. So that's a 26 to hit.
That is a solid hit.
Yep. And I will not use anything. Actually, I'm just gonna straight up damage. And that will be, where am I looking? Where am I going here? That'll be 12. Yeah, 12 points of magical piercing damage.
Excellent. Qualu.
Qualu will try to get the kill before Vale does, as he will launch himself towards the last remaining dwarf and just club him over the head with his staff.
There's 2.
Oh, 2? Sure. All right, he'll try and hit the other one that Vale isn't trying to go for.
All right, so you're attacking the one with the brambles.
Yeah. That one done with. Right, so I have a 26 and 27 to hit.
Both are hits.
Yeah, first hit will do. Oh, geez, my modifier is huge. It'll be 14 points for the first hit.
Okay.
And then it'll be 15 points for the second hit.
Qualu comes rushing in with this magical staff topped with a golden goat head and rapidly double taps this bramble-covered dwarf. You break away, like, just below the eye and down across that open maw, part of the devil mask, exposing the undead flesh underneath, breaking its jaw, but not killing it.
Oh, no.
Brilinya, you are up next.
Is Brilinya able to make her way to the goat guy?
Yeah, actually that path is completely open because everybody's in kind of crowding into this hallway.
Perfect. She's going to race towards him and immediately goes into healer mode, looking at his wounds and placing her hands upon them. She's going to cast Cure Wounds on him.
Give me a medicine check.
Okay. Oh, that's a nat 20 for a 21.
As you rush up and your mithril entwined wrists begin to glow with this healing magic, you drop down onto your knees. Devlin's blood begins soaking into your robes. And as you begin to apply this spell, before you even fully touch him, you see where the blood has been leaking out of these various wounds, and you realize that it's not flowing anymore, that he is already dead. So that medicine check allows you to not burn your spell trying to heal him.
Okay. So she would, with that, just start reciting prayers of Ilmater over him.
Excellent. Let's see. Yep, it is in fact these two dwarves. So we've got Vale and Qualu immediately up there. Qualu, the one that you struck and broke its jaw, it reaches up with one hand and grabs its jaw and just rips the broken jaw out. There's no blood. You just see now this, just its top jaw, and with its jaw ripped off, it actually tries to backhand you with its own jaw. And that is going to be, I'm going to roll a different die here. Just because, for the irony of it, I'm going to roll my pretty in pink Friendship and Magic, My Little Pony D20.
I didn't know that this creature felt that way about me. Aww.
And that is a 16 on the die, which means that's going to be a dirty 20 to hit you.
Oh, yeah, that'll easily hit me.
It strikes you across the face, and you are going to take a total of 5 necrotic damage.
You mean 5 friendship damage?
Friendly necrotic damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
I can do those. I rolled a 16 on the die, plus some huge number here. Plus 7. 23.
So you are not further affected by this, whatever it may have been. The one in front of you, Vale, is going to take 2 attacks with its battle axe. And just for poops and giggles, I'm going to roll the friendship die on these. That first attack is going to be a whopping 9. There's another shower of sparks as it clatters off the corner of the edge of the hallway here. And then the second shot that's jacked is a 21 to hit. And that'll be
that just hits.
It's only a 1, so that is going to be a 3. Total of 3 slashing damage as it just catches you on the backswing with this. And that Devlin is already dead. So that takes us back to the top of the order, Taliel. Both of these dwarves are still standing, but you also have Qualu and Vale standing directly in front of them. So any arcane shot against them from this vantage point will be at disadvantage.
I think she would try to shoot anyways. Going for the one on the right is what
Okay,
she'll
that's
try.
the one Vale's engaged with.
Okay, so disadvantage, you say?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's not so bad. That's a 21.
On disadvantage?
Yeah, I rolled an 11 and a 19, so
All right.
so 21. So this is just a magical arrow. Okay, that's on the floor. Oh, max damage. So that will be 14 points of magical piercing.
Vale, you actually feel the you won't take any like hit point damage, but you get essentially a paper cut on your cheek as the flights of this arrow, it comes so close to you, the flights of the arrow brush your cheek on the left side as it strikes into this dwarf. Actually, you know what? I take that back because that wouldn't make any sense. You're a half elf and that's a dwarf. So you do feel as it sort of goes under your arm, where your arm was as you move up, the arrow comes through. That'd be pretty cool, but that doesn't make any narrative sense with a dwarf there, unless Taliel's like 16 feet tall. But nonetheless, the arrow shoots right past you and strikes the dwarf. You still have another attack, I believe.
And yes, and is that dwarf still standing?
It is.
Yeah, so then the second arrow will follow shortly thereafter against that one. Oh, that's not as good. So that's a 15.
Still hits.
Okay. That will be 10 points of piercing damage.
Vale, you watch, already still sort of startled by this arrow that just came, seemingly, you're not sure how you didn't get hit by it. A split second later, this arrow is split in half as Taliel strikes the arrow, splitting it, and it runs straight through this dwarf. And you just see it sort of look down, and you see that devil mask look up at you, Vale, and it cocks its head to the side, and then it just, holding that battle axe, it just sort of falls backwards, crashes into the wooden balcony that's there, breaking through it and tumbling into the open air of that long drop of the balcony. And yes, let's pick up right there. Brilinya, you missed your constrictor snake's turn.
I just want to say one thing too. As a bonus action, Taliel's going to do her second wind.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, the snake is going to go for the remaining dwarf and try to constrict.
All right.
18 again to hit.
Yep.
And 14 points of bludgeoning damage, and the target is grappled.
It's almost exactly a repeat. I mean, this dwarf had the exact same number of hit points the last time you pulled this. So same thing. The snake just sort of winds its way around, kind of moves in this time between Qualu's legs and just wraps up around this dwarf. And in front of him, you again, Qualu, just see this snake just crush this dwarf. And with that, Vale and Qualu, you can see out here in the open hallway, there are no other enemies coming. You are out of combat. What would you all like to do?
I would immediately turn to the wizard whose name I can't remember right now because I'm...
Devlin.
Yes. I was about to say satyr guy, but that would also kind of imply be silly. But I'm going to go to him, and if he's not quite dead yet, I'm going to try and heal him up.
You see, as you come around the corner there, you see Brilinya on her knees, the mithril glow just sort of kind of holding, but not quite as powerful, her hands over, and you hear her mumbling prayers of, it was Ilmater, I believe, correct? Over the body, and you can see that the wizard Devlin is dead. And both of you, I think Brilinya, because you were kind of caught up in the moment, maybe you didn't realize this, but Vale, you would notice as you come around, and you were the one that had sort of tested the way, walking through this circular path. The position in which Devlin's body lies is exactly the position in which you found the body when you first stumbled across him. His staff, the same staff that Qualu holds, lies there on the ground next to the body.
I think at that, Brilinya would just look up at Vale, like seeing him almost ready to cast this healing magic, and she just looks up at him and just shakes her head. I already tried. He's gone.
Do you think we should try again? Go forward and then back again? Which is just the weirdest thing.
I wonder if we've somehow, I mean, we could try, but I wonder if we've somehow affected the time. It is going to maybe continue to go forward.
Maybe. Perhaps we were just in a strange, endless loop.
A stream does not stop flowing downhill. We just have two streams.
All right, fine. Yeah, but you don't cross the streams now, do you? I mean, you never cross them. There, I said it, okay? We were all thinking it. I said it. Now let's move on.
You have a mind that does not fit one of Ooptow.
Oh, you're daft. But you're a good man. Look, part of that plaque, it said that the ring is a map. Is that not it?
It says sorry, I have it here. The ring. The ring is a path to another tomb. I'm still convinced that it is a whole other tomb, maybe even a whole other world. Another Chult? Who knows how far this stretches on?
Imagine if we started running circles in one way or another, it's going to be, yeah.
I think we should just return to our original time. Who knows what's changed here? Who knows what's different?
Oh, that's fair. Right. We just need to go, back the other way, isn't it?
What do you two think? And she would look at Taliel and Qualu.
Taliel has been staring down at Devlin. Because as she came back from the fight, she was like, Devlin, we got them. And then she saw you're standing over the body and Devlin not moving. And she hasn't really said a word since. We were too late. But we could save him, maybe. Go back and do it again and again.
I mean, we could, but it just seems so odd. Do you notice that this is the exact same position of where we found him? It almost as if anything we did
Didn't matter.
I didn't mean it so harsh, but
No, you make a good point. I mean, think. When we first found his body here, we've not even come here yet, but we're not the reason why his body fell exactly the way it did. So even if we did it again, chances are his body's going to be in the exact same place it was before. So no matter what we do, I think that's it.
Qualu has been thinking long and hard about this other tomb while smashing in the skulls of undead dwarves. Perhaps this other tomb that we find ourselves in now can give answers and clues to the other tomb that we were in before.
It's possible. I say we backtrack, like you said, Brill. Head back, have a look at maybe that next room. When we go around the one time, we can go have a look to see if it's the same room or a different room.
there's also the question of that secret room that we found. It is obvious that this circle, whatever, this ring, doesn't lead to that room. That room is still yet unexplored.
Give me an insight check, Brilinya. Actually, I would say anybody can do this, with Brilinya having told you about where she saw that room led to.
I got a 19.
Got a 17.
Qualu, Vale?
I rolled a nat 1. I think that he's still kind of pondering how profound of a thing he said was. He's like, oh, yes, I had a good idea. I should fight undead dwarves more often to keep the blood flowing in my brain.
That was good. You said insight, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's just a 14.
Taliel, as Brilinya says this, you start thinking back when you were before you came through the ring, and you're thinking about how Brilinya described what she saw looking through the walls. That the path, this narrow crawlway, went a little ways and then veered southwest and appeared to open into another room, though she couldn't quite see that room. Based on what you've seen, you've only seen from the balcony area 2 hallways, this one and the previous one that led to the devil face that you leapt through its mouth. If you continue around this balcony area, there's to the south what appears to be just a solid wall, and in the southwest corner, stairs leading down. Yet, it does appear that there may be other rooms further south of this balcony.
And upon thinking that, Taliel, she may not even say anything out loud, or maybe she'll mutter under her breath, mumble something about there's rooms over there. And she will actually leave and go out into that balcony area to that wall where you're saying that the south side there.
Okay. Yeah, so you walk out and you see, knowing that what you believe, that you are in another tomb that may or may not be in the past. Everything looks the same as what you saw previously. You walk out and you turn to your left to the south, and moving past the dead body of the one dwarf, you see the broken railing leading down into darkness, where you can you can see them a little bit better because you're another level down, those statues that are far below, and you can just make out the broken body of the dead dwarf down there. You see the plaque, just like you saw before, and you move down to that south corner, and you see that now that you're a little bit closer, this, what previously appeared to be a solid wall, in the center of the southern wall, there it almost blended in with the stone wall, but you can see that there is what appears to be a 9-foot high and 9-foot wide stone door with 3 oval holes carved into it at roughly head height, at about 5.5, 6 feet high.
How big are the oval holes? Or
they look like they're big enough for a head to stick through.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, do you walk up to it, or are you viewing it from afar? Because right now you're in the southeastern corner, sort of looking that way.
I would walk up to it.
Okay. As you approach it, suddenly 3 humanoid heads lunge out, one out of each of the holes. And you can smell the rotten, putrid flesh of 3 zombies sticking their heads through, and they're immediately and they're straining, trying to get at you. And you can hear in the space behind them the rattling of chains. Also, in addition to that, they're not just gnashing at you and trying to bite at you. You can see that their mouths are ripped backwards, and some of their teeth are broken because there is basically an iron bit in their mouth, and chains are bolted on either side to a sort of makeshift bridle as these 3 zombies appear to be chained to something inside the room. So
guys.
Never mind. I was going to say, what you guys do as Taliel goes down this way, but she's calling you.
I think Brilinya would mention that maybe it's a good idea if we go back to our time.
You should see this first.
Sure.
You walk over there and you would see the same thing. You smell the rotting flesh, and one of the heads sort of turns towards you and starts sort of cracking its head, not breaking anything, but smashing up against the side of this oval hole, trying to get at you.
Oh, that's not great.
Reminds me of soup day at the harbor.
They're chained there for a reason. And it wasn't a door, you said, right? Like,
It's a 9-foot wide, 9-foot high stone door with these 3 oval head holes. This appears to be some kind of entrance or exit to a room, but seems to have a sort of guard dog there.
I think immediately Brilinya's instinct is to look. Are the heads in there so obscuring the holes that she can't see into the room?
It's really difficult to see inside there. I would say give me a perception check at disadvantage because you're trying to look around these heads as they're also trying to get to you.
Yeah, that's a 5. So
Yeah, they're blocking it enough that you can't get a good read on what's in that room. But I mean, you can tell that this is a stone door. Yeah.
Well, I say we open it then.
do we open this one or do we go back to our, and she looks at Brilinya, our tomb and see if it's there as well?
I think we should.
Explore this room first.
Go back, see if it's the same.
Oh, if you wish it. About you, Qualu.
If we wait here, will we walk through this other tomb?
What do you mean?
Qualu thinks about other tomb now. It's very interesting, this place.
Well, I get it. Time's moving in one
The
direction.
sky is blue, yes. Time moves.
Yeah, but you don't have to follow time. You can move against it. Like, gods, I don't know what a nature. Like the fish swimming upstream.
Does this man swim against time? What?
Well, walking through this ring-like structure, it's the same thing. You're walking against time, so you travel into the past.
Yeah, I'm aware of this.
Great.
You're speaking down to me. I do not understand why you speak so down to me.
Because you're a moron.
No, I am a worshipper of Ubtao.
Right. You can still be. You know, it's fine.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Mormon. Oh, sorry, I put an M in there by accident. My bad.
Hey, there's only one fourth wall breaker, mister, and that's me.
I break as many walls as I wish. I have a new weapon now.
Touche. So
what were we talking about again?
Do we go back?
Paulu's brain went on a tangent.
Do we go? What do you think? Do we go back, as Brillet suggested, or do we press on through this door with the zombie sentinel things?
Qualu thinks that if we go this way, we have knowledge of other tomb, or other tomb. If we go back to other tomb, we'll have knowledge of other tomb. It is the same, because they are the same yet slightly different, yes?
But what if they're not? What if they are more different than we thought?
We will not know unless we explore both.
But why should
And we are here
explore
now.
both?
Well, perhaps. Why would there be tunnel going to other tomb if other tomb has no reason for existence?
Could be a trick.
This is a
way
very
to trap
large
us.
trick.
What if at the end of this we're
Maybe
just trapped?
other tomb is the trap, and this is not a trap.
But we walked in here.
Yes. We walked into the tomb itself.
Right.
I see, not your point.
We did not walk into this other tomb.
Yes, we did. We walked to... I'm confused.
But
You're
only
confusing me.
But only through the other tomb.
Yes, but we walked into this other tomb, yes? We chose to go here. We are here now. If you wish to go back, just to go forward again. But we are here now.
I'm just saying, I'm worried that this is another trick and that we don't know what is here. And we don't know what trap he set for us, or even if the outside there is anything outside of this tomb.
If we go back to first tomb and then continue on down corridors, we will still not know if there are traps. Qualu sees no difference here. Qualu puts other tomb and first tomb together to make one large tomb. It is all one tomb, because the tomb and the tomb are close.
Brilinya just like throws up her hands.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect.
They are connected.
I don't
They
get
are
it
the
anymore.
same tomb, but connected. Perhaps it's a mirror, yes. Perhaps you're swimming like a fish upstream through time, yes, but they are connected, like a road from one town to the other. Yes, there's a connection. Yes, but they're the same. They're one piece of thing, one tomb, entirety. In the same way, yes, you have two trees, but look back, oh, it is one forest. Well, more than two trees, but stay with me here.
I think I understand what you're trying to say, that yes, this whole structure underground in its entirety is technically one tomb to a Serarak, the thrice naughty, and we are looking for a bunch of little tombs that are within this grand overarching tomb.
Yes, and we are here now. Like, the place where we stand now is where we are. Why go
Right.
back just to go forward again? It wastes time, and time is valuable when the soul monger continues to suck up the siphon the souls of our loved ones.
Apparently, this tomb is also robbing me of my sanity because he is actually starting to make a little bit of sense.
Qualu has made sense this whole tomb.
You son.
You are now just fluent in Qualu.
This whole tomb.
The wrong Chultan died, I swear. Swear to the gods.
Qualu,
Yes.
can you bash these heads so that they stop trying to eat me while I look at this door?
Perhaps. It has worked before. With my drinking buddies. It shall work with these strange creatures nonetheless. Now? Yes, sure. Okay.
Okay, make an attack.
Cool. I whack it. 25 to hit.
Yep.
Sorry. 28 to hit. Big ol' 12 damage.
You hit one of the heads. It begins gnashing and growling at you even more.
Let me try again. Shut up, you thing. Be still. And he'll keep whacking at it, this thing, bludgeoning its face in until it stops moving.
I would say that if you're going to keep bashing at it, it only takes a couple of strikes and you just shatter its head. One of
Is that what
the
you wish?
one of the zombies is now dead, and it sort of slumps back and drops out of sight. You can now see through the other hole into the room.
Is that good? Did Qualu do good?
Who's looking in?
I'll do it.
All right, Vale. Looking inside the room, you see that the let me find it here. So you see that these zombies are, you can see the one just make out its body down below, and they appear to be attached. These chains are attached to a pulley system that is bolted to the ceiling on the south side of the door. And looking at it, and the way it just kind of looking around, seeing how they're attached at it, the way these zombies are pushing in towards the door is actually keeping the door, would actually sort of prevent the door from opening, if that makes sense. It looks like if they were to move in the opposite direction from the door, they would pull on the chain, move through the pulley, and it would actually raise this stone door. Besides that, you can see that this room, it does, so where this door is, there's about a 10-foot by 10-foot area. 10 foot wide and 15 feet deep area. It does open into a much wider room. You can't quite see what is in the far sides of the room closest, but further south you do see that in the corners of the room and on the sides of the room are very large glass cauldrons that are just filled to the brim with humanoid bones. In the center of this room, you see an ancient chariot upon which is a bronze sarcophagus with treasure strewn across the top of it. On the body of the chariot, you see paintings of a bird, a tall bird with a long, sharp beak. On the south wall, directly opposite this door, is a bronze shield embossed with the image of a Chultan warrior carrying a spear. There is an inscription on it that you can just make out that reads, "Bow before no one." On either side of this bronze shield are a couple of statues, two on either side, that are made of bronze and on pedestals. Each of them depicts Chultan warriors, one holding a sword, two with spears, and one missing its face. Inside your head, you hear the nervous voice of Obalaka telling you, Be careful. Those cauldrons are full of Papa Zolto's most zealous devotees. And even in death, they might try to protect him. Please, be careful.
I'm going to turn back to the others, and it's an empty room. I think we should move on. I'm kidding. I'll tell them everything that I saw in there, and actually also include what Obalaka said in my head jello.
And with that, we are going to take a quick break because the Dungeon Master has to pee. I realize it's 5 minutes after 10, so we're going to take a 10-minute break for bio, refreshing beverages, and whatnot. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in so far. We will be back in just 10 minutes. We will see you then. And we're back. So we ended with Vale describing what he had seen in the room beyond and telling you all what the spirit of Obalaka in his head had warned, that this appears to be another final resting place of one of the trickster gods, and about the door and the zombies seem to somehow be part of the pulley mechanism. What would you like to do? Oh, and there's the little fact that you guys appear to possibly be in another tomb backwards in time.
I hate to sound like a broken alarm spell, but so
Nice.
I was going to say record, and then I'm like, wait, no.
I like that. That was good.
But I just really think we need to go back. Go back to our own time. To our own dimension, wherever we are.
I agree with you, Brilinya.
Brilinya, make a wisdom saving throw.
That is a 16.
Taliel, you don't understand it, but you can see that Brilinya appears to be slightly uneasy. Qualo, you really wouldn't know the source of this either. But you sense just a little bit of uneasiness. Vale, something's bothering Brilinya.
Brill, what is it?
Look, I don't like the idea of being in another universe created by this, whoever this is, and just us being his puppets, even more so than we already are in the regular tomb. And she kind of pauses for a moment, trying to gather her thoughts. When Brother Mateus took me, he brought me into a different dimension, a realm of his own, and he kept me there for 6 months. 6 months, Vale, and there was only, a few hours a day maybe since the time I left and when you found me. But for me, it was 6 months. I just don't like the idea of us not being even in control of time. We've already seen it just with Devlin. This whole thing just makes me very uneasy.
All right, then. We're not going into this tomb. We're not worrying about these zombies. I'm sure there's nothing inside that Ebly could help us with. Let's just go then.
I just think that, I don't know. I think that we'll find whatever we need to find in that tomb as well.
All right, then. Then let's go.
And she would actually look to Kawalu to see what he's saying.
Qualu knows Qualu's voice is just one.
So, you all make your way back around this balcony area, past the bodies of the dead dwarves, into that ring where you see the body of Devlin, his goat staff lying on the ground, presumably the same journal and spell book, in his possession as before. Do you take any of these items from his newly fallen body? Do you take the second staff?
No, well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't take the second staff.
All right.
Taliel would actually mention one thing as we were walking back through, because it just kind of occurs to her as she sees the broken balcony. And she turns to like Brilinya and Vale and Qualu. When we first came in our tomb the first time, I don't remember the balcony being broken. So, to me, Brilinya, that makes me think that you're right. We're in a different place, and I long to get back to our own.
What if when we go back, the balcony is broken there too?
Then we know they're connected.
That's fair.
So the four of you walk through to the south, walking back the opposite direction. To your observation, though you see the floor curving ahead of you, just like before, you feel as though you're walking in a straight line. As you come back around, you see the intersection, and you see right where you left him before, the now long dead Devlin. The staff no longer there. You pass by the body and find yourself once again in that same intersection. With to the east is the wine trap room, and to the west is the area where the balcony and the way to the south to that zombie door, at least in the place you were. Where are you going? Who's leading the way?
If no one else will, I'm Taliel. Her curiosity about this whole thing is kind of piqued, so she would be going almost straight back into that balcony room first to see if the balcony is now broken, and two, to see if the zombie door exists here as well.
You get out there ahead of the others, and you can already see it before you even get to the end of the hall, that the balcony is not broken. As you get closer, you look at the area. It was a good 3-4 foot section of balcony that had been broken, splinters of wood shattered, even fragments of wood lying on the ground, and you see no sign. Not only does it look like it's not broken, it doesn't look as though it was ever broken. You don't see any signs of showing that it was repaired or anything like that. Glancing over to the south wall, you see a 9 foot high, 9 foot wide stone door with 3 oval holes in it.
I think Brilinya is following close behind Taliel, and she says, so the other tomb is not just time gone, or in the past, it is a different place.
It's completely a different place. One that looks almost identical to this one.
I was beginning to worry my paranoia was not warranted, and I was putting you guys through unnecessary caution.
Seems it was very well founded. And I think she'd look to Qualu at this point, to make sure that, you're still here and that we have you for what she's expecting to see is 3 zombie heads pop their heads through, but we'll see.
So, Taliel, are you heading right for the zombie door?
Yeah, I think I would. Mhm. I know it's there, so I'm not going to like go close where those gnashing teeth could get me. Yeah.
You walk up along that area, move in, keeping a little closer to the balcony, knowing what to expect. And as you look, you can see through the holes there's a room beyond. And nothing seems to be coming out of the holes. You don't hear anything on the other side.
Oh, she would then go a little closer and look through into that other room and to see if it looks the same as
Zombie lurches out at you. I think I got both Kaeryn and Megan with that.
No, you didn't get me. I was just like, what the hell? Like, were you like clearing your nose? Like,
it came out a lot louder than I intended. So really,
I was thoroughly startled by what happened. I was just like listening and like, oh, whoa.
I thought.
I thought I sat on like my volume up button for a second or something.
I thought I tipped my hand when I gave a sharp intake of breath. So I paused a little bit longer. Are you okay? Before we proceed.
I'm recovering. I'm okay. Yeah, you got me.
There you go, all of you watching at home. You can jump scare someone while you're playing online.
I'm going to have to go back. I need somebody to clip that. If not, I'll have to make a highlight of that.
Probably.
Let's see. We are...
And 3 people are going to try to kick your ass for it. I'm not one of them.
Oh, I feel a little bit bad about it, but also I feel like 10% bad. 90% I feel
giddy.
I feel happy
euphoric.
As a DM that I was able on an online game to startle some players. So back on track. All 3 zombies, as you move in closer, just suddenly lurch out. One of them right in your face. If you had taken another step forward, it would have bit you in your face. As you sort of pull back and just avoid getting bit, you see you see the metal bit in their mouth. You see the chains. For all intents and purposes, they look identical. What would you like to do?
After Taliel has recovered from her scare, she would turn to both Vale and Koalu, but especially Vale because he's the one who saw the room before, and he mentioned that these zombies could be used to open the door. Do we want to open this? Well, I mean, of course we do. Do you have any ideas how?
I have an idea, but you're not going to like it.
I don't like much about this place, so.
All right. Well, zombies eat flesh. The zombies need to move to the far end. So if we could get some dead flesh and throw it over to the end so that the zombies move away, and while they're gnawing on it, we can go into the tomb.
I have a rabbit. I don't know. I actually had no idea if Vale has a rabbit.
It says that the dead abhor sunlight. Could that be in this case?
I mean, that's entirely possible.
I see no sun in here.
I'd say try that first.
That'd be a good idea. The other one would be we're gonna have to nick Devlin's body and kind of,
Well, you do know that Devlin's body is long dead in this version of the tomb. It's little more than a desiccated corpse at this point.
Yeah, there's got to be something on there.
Perhaps the zombies like the bones.
Maybe.
Fetch.
I'll have to check that out. It looks like Fellowship of the Tables has clipped Jump Scare, and it is auto-linked in the chat. We'll have to check that out at the end of the game. Thank you, Andrew, for that. So what are you trying? I heard something about sunlight.
Maybe it's just any kind of light. And
Vale. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Brilinya would just like cast light on maybe Cole's journal and hold it up to the holes where the zombies are.
You can very clearly see that these are long dead zombies. You can see every bit of desiccated flesh peeling away from the bones. You can see in stark relief how dead they are. You've lit them up very well. Vale, give me an insight check.
That is a 21.
You know that it's possible that as a chosen one of Ubtao, you might have some Ubtao ability that could cause these undead to turn away from you.
That is true. I think. I only say I think because if memory serves me correctly. So here's the thing. Yeah. So as a Oath of the Ancients paladin, I can turn the faithless. So as an action, I can present my holy symbol, and each Fey or Fiend within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw, or its turn for 1 minute. Not undead, only Fays, Fey creatures, or Fiends.
Ah.
I know. At first I had thought of that too, and then I was actually checking that out when you made your jump scare, which I watched that clip, and it was fire. It was lovely. Karen's reaction was just perfection, including the oop. The oop was so good. But I was looking at that, and that's when I was like, "Oh shit, what was going on?" So, yeah.
All right.
So unfortunately, that's not gonna quite work.
Well, it appears that regular light is also not working.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have anything else.
Qualu, give me an insight check.
Let me see what I notice. Ooh, it's a good roll. Probably gonna be a 14 or no, yeah, straight up 14. Yep.
You get the sense that hearing that this door seems to be controlled by these zombies on a pulley system that's designed to lift the door, that it might be possible for 2 or more of you to just lift the door.
Qualu has an idea. It fits many of Qualu's ideas before. It does not involve breaking the door, no, but lifting it.
So you using brute strength?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I'm in.
Well, strength. Qualu is no brute. Qualu is quite a scholar as well.
Yeah. So then, if that's the case, then maybe we should probably kill these things first, then lift it up.
But Qualu cannot kill them until they're in his face.
Right, but they got the holes, right? So if we just stab them repeatedly in the face, surely that would... I mean, even undead generally don't get up and walk around after you stab them repeatedly in the head.
You bashed the other one pretty good.
I say just lift the door and let them have at us, and I will battle them back with my new staff of smashing.
As you're holding up the door.
No, I will. Yes, I will use one hand to hold the door aloft, and the other hand to strike them back. Perhaps I will hold the door open with my foot and strike them with both of my hands.
Yeah,
Perhaps I'll keep the door upon my head and have both hands free to swing.
You're going to get this TPK after all, Jake. Right. Well, then. Let's do it then.
Perhaps I can give the door to the zombie to hold. And then smack him. Ha!
Yeah, might just be a very polite zombie.
What if I lift door, zombies come, and I drop the door on zombies? Ha ha! That might work. Whoop 'em, ha! Idea.
I mean, that's actually not a terrible idea, which I think is more
Qualu
shocking.
is a scholar. He has many good ideas. Let him think about smashing creatures, and his brain comes up with ideas.
Right, let's just lift the wall together, okay, or the door together.
It's not a wall; it's a door.
The door.
And you call me the dumb one.
What is your strength score, everybody?
20.
What is your strength score, everybody? Really thought you were going with one person. 18 for me.
12 for me, so.
7.
Was that a single digit?
Yeah.
Vale and Qualu, you feel that the 2 of you could probably together muscle this door up, which would leave Taliel and Brilinya to be hands-free.
Yeah,
I
until Taliel's ready for it. She's got the long sword out and ready to start wailing into these things when they come out.
Yeah, I think Brilinya would ask Taliel which one she wants to go for, and then she would ready an Eldritch Blast for the other 2.
Left. I'll take the left.
Okay. I will take middle and right.
And I will take door. This door, not that one.
All right, let's do it.
On
All right.
3. 1, 2, 3.
It takes all of your strength as you are pushing into this. You get underneath, you get your hands, your fingers up under the edge. You smartly lift with your legs and not your back. And you begin to raise this door up. As the door begins going up, the zombies move their heads out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to see if they would. So there's 4 humanoids of fresh meat on the other side of that door. Zombies, as we all know, have incredible wisdom. Left zombie. Middle zombie. Right zombie. The middle zombie, as the door begins lifting, yanks its head back. As you begin lifting the door, the other two zombies' heads stay in and begin to rise up. You can feel as the zombies are moving towards the door and the two are stuck in the door, there's a little bit of resistance as you are pressing up in it, because you're essentially pulling against the zombies. I would like Vale and Qualu at advantage to both make athletics checks.
Without advantage, this will be a nat 1, but with advantage, this will be a total of 28.
And that's a 23 for me with advantage.
So I rolled disadvantage for the two zombies still stuck in the door. The one got a nat 20 and a nat 1, which doesn't come up very often. They both failed against your strength. There's a rending sound and swinging like a pendulum on two of the chains. Actually, because they were on bits in their mouth, you see on either side of on the other side of the door, two of the zombie bodies just fall to the ground. And swinging like pendulums, two zombie heads swing out into the room. But as soon as the door comes up, the middle zombie is lunging towards Vale and Qualu. And I believe that was one Brilinya you had covered.
Yes. That is going to be a 24 to hit, or 15 points of damage, and it gets pushed 10 feet back.
Are you popping both blasts into this one?
Oh, yes, actually. So then that's a dirty 20 to hit, and another 15 points.
The zombie is disintegrated. With the last of the tension, Qualu and Vale heft the door up. There do not appear to be any other living creatures in this room. Qualu and Vale are holding the stone door open.
Taliel will quickly go under the door and get inside the room.
Brilinya would follow.
All right. The Taliel and Brilinya, the other two, they move in. Vale and Qualu, what are you going to do with the door? You going to just drop it or lower it or lock them in the room?
Let's just swing under, yes. All right. We'll duck under the thing and kind of leap out a bit to let the door slam behind us.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right, so you're going to just let the door drop. All right, you are all in the room. You can all now see exactly as was described. Giving you just a little more detail. This room, you see beyond the 15-foot narrow, by 10-foot wide by 15-foot opening where the zombies were chained. You see that the room opens up to the west and to the east. It is a large rectangular room, almost square, 60 feet wide and 45 feet deep. In the middle of the room is this chariot with the sarcophagus atop it. Along the walls, in each corner and in the center of the two walls, east and west, there's a total of 6 of these large glass cauldrons. Inside them and all around them, they're littered with humanoid bones. What easily has to be dozens and dozens and dozens, 50 or 100, you can't tell. The bronze shield with the visage of the warrior upon it, and then the 4 bronze warrior statues are all along the south wall. What would you like to do?
Is the plaque in here too saying about the bowing? The bow for
Yeah,
no one?
yeah. The yeah, skipping. The bronze shield bears the embossed image of a Chultan warrior carrying a spear, below which an inscription reads, "Bow before no one." Anybody?
I mean, I would probably go in and like keep maintain a decent distance away, but probably try to examine the sarcophagus as much as possible.
So as you move up close to it, you see that it does appear, based on the artwork in the area, it appears to be the spirit of Papa Zotel the Ibli. You see strewn across the top of this sarcophagus is a gold torque, which I forget what that is. A torque. Oh, it's one of those, that's right. It's one of those, like, solid, like a necklace that doesn't connect. It has sort of an opening. It's almost solid, like you can bend it, put it around. It's not a chain, kind of like a choker.
But a torque.
Yes, okay, that's what I said. A gold torque that looks to be worth about 250 gold pieces, 3 golden cups, 5 gold cloak pins, and an amulet of health. You can see this incredible amulet that golden chain, golden amulet with what appears to be a pure ruby heart emblazoned in it. Or not just emblazoned, embedded, mounted.
I think Brilinya is looking at the faces on the wall, as well as looking between her notes and the bow before no one.
So they're not faces; they're actual statues, 2 on either side. So centered on the southern wall is this bronze shield that has the embossed figure of the warrior, and then on either side of it are 2 statues made of bronze of warriors. One is holding a sword, 2 have spears, and 1 is missing its face. So, looking over your notes that you have with the line, what is the line from the plaque?
I have it. It is bow as the dead god intoned.
And then on this shield in this room, it says bow before no one. Brilinya is just standing there looking at her notes in the journal, looking at the statue, the warrior, the words bow before no one, and looking left and right at the 4 bronze statues, one with a sword, 2 holding spears, and 1 missing its face. What do you do? If you'd like, you can roll an insight check.
Yes. Brilinya will. It's an 18 on the die for a 19.
You keep looking at these statues and at the phrases, and every time you're drawn to that faceless statue. Bow before no one. You see the statue of the warrior with the sword. Chultan features carved in exquisite detail. The 2 spear warriors also holding or having the visage of very detailed. These aren't even the same ones. They're different Chultan warriors, 1 male and 1 female. And there stands the one with no face, unidentifiable.
I'll probably walk from the tomb over to Brilinya. You have an idea?
I think Taliel is probably right behind Brilinya on this, and she would kind of look to Brilinya, nod, and then go to the one that has no face. And Taliel is going to bow in front of that one.
Brilinya is going to nod, a bit unsure of herself, and then Taliel doing that, and she would also bow in front of the faceless one.
I'll do the same.
What if this is a trick?
The helping points, the hints that he gives us, they don't seem to be tricks. Complicated, yes, but seems like they do help us.
If it is a trick, you will probably get to fight again.
Oh, you are right. And when Qualu fights, he thinks well. And if he thinks well, he can puzzle through this trick. Ah, you make it a good point. I will play into this trick, knowing full well I will beat the trick. Qualu goes to bow before the faceless one.
So all of you have bowed before the faceless one. When Qualu finally bows, you hear a sound, a shifting sound, coming from the cauldrons, all 6 of them at once. It sounds as if a great pile of bones has settled, with a little bit of a glass ring to it. Nothing else happens. What else would you like to do?
Is that it?
Well, that was pretty anticlimactic.
Well, I'll stand up and go over to the sarcophagus.
Okay.
Or, yeah, go to the sarcophagus. And then look to see how I can open it.
It looks as though it has hinges on it, and the lid looks like it could be lifted. Doing so would cause the treasure pile atop it to fall to the chariot, but
Brilinya is going to start looking at the treasure pile. If there's anything that looks interesting.
Well, it all looks to be very valuable treasures. The amulet with the ruby heart in it looks very valuable.
I think very carefully, making sure she looks around, she would pick it up.
Okay. Need everybody to roll initiative.
Good job there, Brilinya. Yep. So no, I was wondering, I always thought it was going to be Qualu who was going to get us all killed, but nope. No, it was Brill all along.
All right, Val.
Qualu would not betray his friends.
Yeah, you would.
Vale, what'd you get?
Does it even matter?
It does.
Got a 15.
All right. Taliel.
23.
Brilinya.
17.
Qualu.
12.
Taliel. Brilinya. Vale. And Qualu. Brilinya, you pick up the amulet and you feel its weight and you feel it tingling with arcane energy. Vale, as you're looking at this sarcophagus, you're looking at the treasures atop it, you're looking to see how it might open, and then you see Brilinya reach in and just grab this amulet off the top. And your focus shifts. You see the sarcophagus and the treasures in focus in front of you, and then you catch movement on the south wall. You realize that the figure of the Chultan warrior embossed on the bronze shield appears to be moving within the confines of the boundary of the shield. It is taking up a stance of a warrior hefting its spear. Taliel, what are you going to do?
Do I notice that as well?
I'd say, yeah, sure. Everybody can kind of see this. You actually do hear this sound as this figure shifts and the embossed design on the surface of it moves. You hear this sort of sound of metal, almost as if the bronze is being twisted every time the statue moves. And that would draw your attention to it.
Put it back. And Taliel would... Oh, man. I think she would ready her longsword at this point, in case the thing actually comes out of the shield. Because you said right now it's just within the confines of the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, the shield is the size of a normal shield. So for all intents and purposes, this embossed warrior is about maybe 2 foot tall.
Yeah, nothing is as it seems here, though. She was just going to ready. She'll ready in case for some reason it steps out of the shield, because that's when. But right now, she's just kind of. Yeah, she's readying in action.
My metal dice are so heavy they won't land on this foam in this dice tray. They won't land with the side up. They're landing point down, so they're not reading properly. All right. Brilinya, does a 24 hit you?
Yes.
You see, and Brilinya, you maybe are just turning to look, and you all see as the statue makes a motion like it's hurling its spear. The spear doesn't actually come out of the shield, but you see a ripple of force energy come out of the shield and hit Brilinya square in the chest. And Brilinya, you will take 5, 17 points of force damage. And then you see the statue on the shield reach over and seems to just almost form it out of the metal itself, a new spear. And it begins to ready itself. It is now Brilinya's turn.
Linda's going to put the amulet back.
You drop the amulet on the sarcophagus, and the Chultan warrior on the shield, you see its gaze shift over to the sarcophagus, shift back to you, and there's this moment where within the drawing, this bizarre two-dimensional, but almost looking three-dimensional, it takes that spear, flips it up, and grabs it, and takes up a position ready to hurl it again. It does not appear to have stopped it.
Nope, didn't work.
What would you like to do? That wasn't your action to put the amulet down.
All right. Brilinya is going to instinctively hurl a eldritch blast at it.
All right.
Both of them, I think. Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
Sweet. And then 13.
The Eldritch Blast is, what kind of damage does that do?
The Eldritch Blast does force damage.
Brilinya, you just instinctively lift up, and there's just that flash of the glowing mithril in your wrists coalesce into this blast of this eldritch energy, and the room glows for a moment with this sort of reflected bronze light. There's this tremendous crashing sound as your eldritch blast strikes the shield, and the shield strikes against the wall that it's mounted against and shatters into 1,000 pieces. And you see one piece go hurling past, and you see the silent, screaming visage of the Chultan warrior frozen in that fragment as pieces of the shield land everywhere. And you are no longer in initiative order.
I'm very sorry. I will not touch anything again. But I fixed it. Maybe.
You did. It's okay.
All right. What would you like to do? Everybody, I just imagine everybody standing in the room going,
Looking at the other person to do something.
Might be okay to take it now.
Or maybe not. Look, maybe we should just have a look to see if we can open up the sarcophagus first.
It's a good idea.
All right, maybe we can speak to this creature, this god. So you said that it appeared like sealed, like there's no.
It looked like it had hinges and looked like it had a lid that would lift open.
I'm lifting it. It's being lifted.
You lift it up, and all of the treasures on the lid slide off and clatter noisily to the floor of the chariot. I imagine a moment of everybody kind of looking around as this happens, but nothing threatens you. Inside, you see the brittle bones of a bird-like creature.
Is there anything is there anything with the corpse that is like some sort of a effigy or talisman or something? Excuse me.
There's nothing but the bones in there. All the treasures appear to be now lying on the chariot.
All right.
Directly in front of Brilinya lies the amulet on the floor of the chariot now.
Perhaps its treasure is on the outside this time.
Maybe. And maybe that amulet has something to do with it.
Maybe someone else should pick it up.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm just gonna grab it.
All right. 1 second. This isn't loading for some reason.
Bring it.
All right. You pick up the amulet, and from within the sarcophagus, shadows begin to sift out like a heavy fog and coalesce and begin moving around the walls until they form the outline of a long-legged bird towering over you. Suddenly, the beak of this bird, the shadow, takes form as it lunges at you, Vale, and you hear in your mind, "You will do as I command." And I need a saving throw, and I forget what it is. Charisma saving throw.
Charisma.
Indeed.
All right. Well, it's a good thing I've got a high enough charisma modifier. Oh my goodness. I don't know if this saves, but it's a 30.
You're not exaggerating, are you?
I am not.
The shadow of this bird's beak, you see it lunging right for your mind, and you just hear the nerve-wracking scream of Obalaka's spirit inside your mind, and you all see the shadow shatter against Vale's. Just, it appears against his forehead. It just, and pieces of shadow fall to the ground and dissipate. And Vale, you now hold the Amulet of Health in your hands.
Gosh, how many dead gods am I gonna have to kill twice? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put it on. I'll put on the Amulet of Health.
All right, go ahead and using the manage equipment or inventory, whatever it is, you can search for Amulet of Health. How many items are you currently attuned to?
3. No, wait. Yes.
Wait. Doesn't Obalaka grant you the ability to attune to a 4th?
That I don't know.
I do believe, Megan's shaking her head, yes. I do believe that was... Yes, when Obalaka inhabits you, you can attune to 1 additional item. Which is why you are able to attune. Now, your character sheet will not allow this, so you're going to have to manually adjust for this.
Yeah. That's
but the Amulet of Health now grants you a Constitution score of 19. I would recommend maybe, if depending on what else you're attuned to, you might want to push this one into your attunement slot on your character sheet, because there's a lot of math involved, because Constitution score is going to affect your hit points and your saving throws and such. If you have a con save, I don't remember. Because what's your current con score?
Current con score is now 19.
I mean, what was it before this?
Give me 1 second. 14.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely going to grant you, let's see, 14 is plus 2. 19 is plus 4. So that's going to be, I believe, an extra 20 hit points automatically as soon as you put it on.
Yes, I now have 100 hit points as opposed to 80.
There you go. There's also the remaining treasures, which I can read again if anybody wants to collect those. In fact, I will just grab those.
Sure. Give them to Qualu. You like shiny
And
things.
Put them in the
What do you
chat.
take me for, a vulture?
Ignore
Yes.
that plus that showed up at the end. I just bumped the button.
Dang.
So,
Some good cash there.
Taliel, give me a insight check. Yeah, there's 250 for the gold torque, 225 worth of gold cups, and 125 worth of gold cloak pins. So, yeah, pretty decent chunk.
14.
Taliel, looking around this room, you think back to the whole reason you first came this way was because you remembered what Brilinya said about where that crawl space led. And you came into a room on the south, but that room should be to the southeast. And you're looking at the eastern wall, and there do not appear to be any obvious doors. There's just the 3 cauldrons along that wall. What would you like to do?
Well, I would definitely go up to that wall and check it out much more thoroughly.
Give me an investigation check.
And I do believe I have advantage if it's a...
I think
looking
you
for a
have
secret
advantage
door.
when looking for secret doors.
Yes. $17.
As you're looking along this area of the wall, you keep hearing the crunching sound of brittle humanoid bones under your feet, as it seems that the finger bones and the toe bones are the most delicate, and you keep shattering them as you step on them. As you move some of the bones aside, you find there is, possibly because of the bone dust that is collected along the bottom edge of this door, this section of the wall, you can see the outline of a door because there's just a thin gap. A quick pull on it, and a section of the stone wall pivots out, revealing a 25-foot long hallway that is 5 foot wide. You can just see just past the 10-foot mark. On the southern side of this hallway, there's an alcove in it, in the corridor, an arched alcove. And you can see within the alcove a dusty bottle standing on a table.
Taliel would she would go into this corridor and towards that alcove. And when she gets up to it, before grabbing it, she's going to look around what it's sitting on and the alcove itself.
You walk up to the table with the bottle on it. It appears to be a slightly violet tinted glass with thin webbing of gilded metal, which is a dumb way to say gold. I don't know why I said it that way. Like a very intricate pattern of gold webbing around the neck that leads down. So it's forming almost like a thin gold basket around this bottle. And as you look at it and you look around the area, something appears to be moving inside the bottle. Within it, you see a dark-skinned woman. She is waving her hands at you frantically, pressing against the glass, and you hear from within, you can't understand what she's saying, but she's pounding on the glass and pointing at you and pointing at herself and
So is there like a cork on the bottle that is easily like removed?
there is indeed.
Do I have to reach into this basket that's
No. The basket is like
underneath?
a part of the bottle. It's like it's attached to it. Like, have you ever seen? Think like the little metal thing basket that's on the top of a champagne cork. It's like that, but gold, forming just it's a decorative portion of the bottle.
Okay.
So you could easily uncork this bottle.
Remove the cork without wrecking the basket. The decorative part of it. Yeah, Taliel would. She would open the bottle. Sorry, guys.
You pop the cork. There's a whirlwind. And suddenly, standing on the table in front of you is a woman. She looks down at you. What languages do each of you speak?
I speak Elvish and Sylvan.
Orcish.
Common, bad common, Chultan, and Sylvan and Draconic.
Celestial. In common. And Elvish.
And she looks at all of you and says a phrase. When none of you understand her, she says something and makes a motion and kind of wipes across her mouth. And you hear, for so very long, I have been trapped inside this bottle. Never in all of the many years that have passed since a Serac trapped me in there, did I believe I would find my way out, let alone so easily. You, and she looks right at you, Taliel. You could have had the world in riches. I would have granted you anything you asked for. Perhaps one day, though I doubt it, our paths will cross. I will give you one thing for free before I leave. Keshma al-Wazir. If ever you find yourself on the elemental plane of Earth, speak that name, and you will find me. And with that, she conjures another spell and vanishes. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. The disappearance of whatever this creature was that you freed from a bottle.
You saved a Dow.
Indeed.
No, in Dow.
She did not even have to bargain or convince you to free her. Easy come, easy go. And I will say this one last thing. That is that because of your benefits, Taliel, you can clearly see that the eastern wall of this passage, you are on the back side of another secret door. But we will find out next week what that is. And I'll give you I'll drop this into our side chat here. The name of the Tao, Kishma al-Wazir. All right. Well, you survived this session. You decided not to stay in the alternate tomb. Though you know how to get there, if you should ever feel compelled to go back there, if anything told you that maybe you wanted to go back there and see what lied for you in the other tomb, you could do so. I'm not giving you any hints whatsoever. You learn some things, and you do appear to be on the cusp of finding out whatever that crawl space led to from the other room, the wine room, as you continue your travels on the second level of this dungeon, the Dungeon of Deception. Thank you to, I don't believe they're here anymore. I think he left, actually, Fellowship of the Tables, but Fellowship of the Tables has provided a link to the jump scare clip, just in case people have popped in since it was last posted. Going to see if I can copy link address. I'm going to drop that in the chat one more time, and I'm going to check this out as soon as we get off the stream here. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight and was active in the chat. Of course, a huge thank you to Joey P, Chameleon Fam, for that massive tip at the beginning, giving these players 10 domain dice, which, despite numerous hits and a couple of fails, they chose not to use. It's almost like they're saving them up for something big. But a huge thank you nonetheless. Of course, as always, thank you to Mike, Kaeryn, Megan, and Connor, without whom it would just be me talking into the stream, pretending to be a bunch of people that I'm not. We are rapidly approaching the 2-year mark on this campaign. This was episode 52, and so far none of you in this screen has died yet. Technically, though, on his second character, Connor has not had a character die yet. So, there's that. I do want to remind you before I go, I'm going to type this in the chat one more time, just in case anybody's interested. The new Teespring store for mini terrain domain merchandise such as this MTD Castle Shield and Cross Tools logo shirt and many others is now open. The link is in the chat. Yeah, that's all I got. You can tune in here next Sunday night to see what happens. There's a pretty heavy possibility of All That Glitters returning tomorrow. I haven't heard anything to suggest otherwise yet. Tuesday, Kaeryn, Connor, and I will be under Megan's DM Wiles in the Curse of Strahd game over on Dice on Ice. Wednesday night, I am running Scream the Horror, a pre-Halloween campy horror game. I've got a couple players lined up, a couple of whom were in last year's Halloween Kids on Bikes game. This is based on a one-page adventure rules light thing called Scream the Horror. And it's going to be relying heavily on campy 80s horror movie tropes. So you can tune in and check that out. Of course, you're going to want to tune in on Thursday, Halloween night, where Megan and the other Dawnbringers will all be in costume for the next session of Dawnbringers, the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And then I don't think anything's going on Friday. I don't remember. I might actually not have a game this Friday. Unless I'm forgetting that there's a game, but I don't think so. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to these awesome players. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.